Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson and welcome to the channel. So this past weekend had Media Day for Epic Universe, Universal Orlando's brand new theme park, which I obviously didn't get to go to, which is fine. This channel's not big enough for me to go to media events anyway, and I don't mind waiting a couple years for Epic Universe to iron out all their kinks and for the crowd sizes to die down. But I figured this would be the best time to make a video that I wanted to make ever since I did my last trip to Universal Orlando back in 2023. So back in the day when I used to upload theme park videos to my movie review channel, I made a list of my top 10 favorite Universal attractions, which included Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Orlando attractions, new and old. But I made that video before I ever got the chance to go back to Universal Orlando. Now that I have, it's time for me to do an updated list, and one that's solely dedicated to the attractions at both Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. Since Epic Universe is getting all the attention, that would be a good idea to make this video for those who maybe have never been to Universal Orlando and want to because of their new theme park. Well, there are two other theme parks with a bunch of great attractions, and this is what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be ranking these attractions not just based on my personal preference, but also on 3 points. How fun the attraction is, how well themed it is, and how often I'd be willing to rewrite it. And also, these are only rides that you can find at Universal Orlando Resort. If it exists in Universal Studios Hollywood, like Despicable Me, Simpsons Ride, Forbidden Journey, and Transformers, those do not count. I love Forbidden Journey and I love Transformers the ride, but I could easily ride both of them at Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, something like Revenge of the Mummy, which is completely different in both parks, that counts on this list. And when it comes to Skull Island Reign of Kong, it's an expanded version of King Kong 360 3D at the studio tour, so that would count as well. So now that I have the setup out of the way, let's get this video started. These are my top 10 favorite Universal Orlando Resort attractions. Pre-Epic Universe. Number 10. Skull Island Reign of Kong. I actually really like this ride more than most. It helps that I'm a big fan of both King Kong and Godzilla, so I just love giant monsters in general, but I think that this is a perfect expansion for what King Kong 360 3D presented at Universal Studios Hollywood. The queue is fantastic. It has a chilling atmosphere. It reminds me of the Indiana Jones Adventure queue at Disneyland. The original score for this ride is great, and I believe was done by William Ross, who has worked with a ton of film composers throughout the years, including John Williams. The Kong animatronic at the end of the attraction is amazing and looks even better in person than on a video. I love the set design in the ride and how it perfectly blends the screens with the real sets. It's not the most thrilling ride you can find at Islands of Adventure, but considering the set design, the music, and just the level of atmosphere leading up to the ride, I found it to be a lot of fun, and I rewrote it several times during my trip. Number 9. The Bourne Stuntacular. Now, I had no real expectations for the show because I like the Bourne movies, but I'm not like obsessed with them. And I still have a really big soft spot for T2 3D, and the fact that that's gone kind of breaks my heart. So I went into the Bourne Stuntacular with the best of intentions and came out thinking, wow, that was amazing. That is easily a great successor to Terminator 2 3D. The way the show melds all these practical sets that appear on stage with the screen, and the fact that it takes you a while to figure out where does the screen end and the practical stuff begin, is impressive. The stunt choreography is amazing, and it's just a really mind-blowing show. I only saw the show once when I was at the parks 2 years ago, and I sat closer to the front on the side, and even then, without being in the middle of the theater watching it straight ahead, it blew me away. So this is a show that is easily a great successor to what it replaced. Number 8. The Incredible Hulk Coaster. Now, this is a ride that I had fond memories of when I first visited Universal Orlando in 2006. I remember my dad wanted to go on the ride with me and said, "I'll ride this more times than you." We went on it. It was a one and done thing for him, and I went on the Hulk several more times afterwards. So cut to 2023, after 15 years of not riding the Hulk, I get back on it and go, yeah, it's a one and done for me. Funny how that all came back around. But that being said, this is still an incredible roller coaster. It's really fast paced. It's got a great score to it that they added later on during its big refurbishment. And the thing that keeps this from being a little lower on the list is that it is incredibly bumpy. I didn't realize how bumpy this ride was until I rewrote it as an adult. But when I was at Universal Orlando last, prior to 2023, it had the distinction of being one of the dominant roller coasters at the park. Now it's only the third best, so it definitely fell off throughout the years, but still a lot of fun regardless. Number 7. Now, this is the point where every Universal Orlando fan is going to tear me a new one. And I'm sorry, but number 7 is Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. Before you get in the comments chewing me out, let me make my case. This is an amazing roller coaster. Like, everything about it is top-notch in terms of creating a theme park attraction. The queue is spectacular. The roller coaster segment itself is not only exciting, but it's incredibly well themed. Whether you're just zipping through the Forbidden Forest, going backwards, landing into the cave, and just dropping down, which scared the hell out of me, it is a ton of fun. But the reason I put this at number 7 is because it lacks rewritability for me. This is the only attraction at Universal Orlando so far, we'll see what happens when Epic Universe opens, that does not allow Universal Express. Even 6 years after this ride opened, it still does not have Universal Express. And this has the longest line of all the rides, no matter what time of the year it is. I am aware that Hagrid's does have a single rider line, but you really want to experience the entire queue itself because it is that well detailed. So it's ultimately for those reasons why Hagrid's is so low on this list. But again, this is a top 10 list, and the fact that it's on this list says something about how good this ride is. Now, if I haven't completely lost all you hardcore Universal Orlando fans, let's jump into the next attraction. Number 6. E.T. Adventure. It almost breaks my heart that E.T. is so low on this list because it's an amazing dark ride. It is the longest standing attraction at Universal Studios Florida, and every time I go on it, it just gives me chills. It brings a tear to my eye because of that iconic John Williams score. And again, hearing E.T. say, "Goodbye, Alexander," at the end of the ride, it really makes it something special. It perfectly captures the magic of the Steven Spielberg film. But the reason that this is at number 6 is because this attraction really has seen better days. Like, the animatronics are not as great as they were back in the day, and they really could use a hardcore refurbishment. A lot of people are saying, yeah, get rid of E.T. I say don't. E.T. Adventure for Universal is what Peter Pan's Flight is at Disneyland. Like, it would be very foolish for them to take away that ride because it is so beloved. So I say close E.T. for a whole year, like strip out all the old animatronics, bring in a new company to put in new mechanics, a new facelift, but keep it as it is because E.T. really does deserve to stick around to the end of time. Number 5. Revenge of the Mummy. Now, this ride, I have a difficult time deciding which I like better, this one or the Hollywood one, because they are both really fantastic, but I'm going to stick with the Florida one for now, because what the Florida one has that the Hollywood ride doesn't is a longer pace, and it has some surprises that just completely caught me off guard when I wrote it for the first time. The queue is entirely different. You're going through a movie set of the fictional Mummy 3, and the one that I think would be a better movie than the actual Mummy 3 that we got. You don't go backwards at full speed like in Hollywood, but you're in that turntable where the build up to the actual launch is quite terrifying. It had that fake ending which scared the crap out of me when I first rode it. And of course it's got Brendan Fraser, who can never seem to get his cup of coffee. So my answer for which version of the ride I prefer will always change, but there's no denying that this is undoubtedly one of my favorite rides at Universal Orlando Resort. Number 4. Jurassic Park River Adventure. Now, when I did my previous video of my favorite Universal rides on my other YouTube channel, this and the original Jurassic Park The Ride were at number 2. But again, I made that list before my recent trip to Universal Orlando. And now that I got the chance to experience River Adventure again, it definitely fell down in a few places, mainly for the same reason that E.T. is lower on this list, as this ride is a classic, but it seriously needs some heavy maintenance. And I'm not even talking about converting it to Jurassic World The Ride, because I would much rather Jurassic World The Ride be its own thing at Universal Studios Hollywood, whereas Orlando still has the original Jurassic Park River Adventure. So much like with E.T., I say close this ride down for an entire year, take out all the animatronics, and just get in a new company to do them all over again. Like, get the company that did the Indominus Rex animatronics at Jurassic World The Ride or Jurassic World Adventure in Beijing. Because if this ride gets the refurbishment that it truly deserves and stays Jurassic Park, this could easily be better than Jurassic World The Ride. But as of right now, Jurassic World The Ride is only better because it has newer animatronics. I think the theming and the story, I guess, for Jurassic Park River Adventure is better than Jurassic World, but I can admit that it's seen better days, and that's why it's at number 4. Number 3. Jurassic World Velocicoaster. This was my second attraction at my recent trip to Universal Orlando Resort, and I was like, oh god, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm gonna do it. And I was screaming nonstop on this ride. It was the first time I've ever been on a roller coaster that did, I guess you call it a top hat, where it launches you and then goes straight up and then straight down. Like, that scared the crap out of me. And I was just so blown away at how incredible this ride is. Like, this is probably the best roller coaster I have ever been on. The queue is very well themed. You got some great Velociraptor animatronics as you're going through it. The loading station is fantastic, and it is just non-stop thrills from beginning to end. There is not a point in this coaster where you ever stop until you get to the end, and at that point you're like, whew, I need a break, because that was a lot. Sadly, I didn't do this ride more than once at my recent trip, like with Hagrid's, but had I mustered up the energy and the courage to do it again, I would have tried to go on this non-stop, because it is truly that great of a coaster. Number 2. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. It's so funny that Forbidden Journey started out as the Wizarding World's signature ride, wherever you went. And by default it is, but at Universal Orlando, it has the distinction of being the 3rd, possibly 4th, best Wizarding World ride. We'll see what happens with Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, or at least I'll see what happens, because I haven't been on it yet. But Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts is kind of the same idea as Forbidden Journey, where it's not a simulator, but it has simulator moments to it. What I think works better in Gringotts than in Forbidden Journey is the level of theming, the fact that while you're on the ride, you have John Williams' score taking you throughout the entire attraction, rather than just the beginning and the end. The 3D effects are great. Like, this is a Harry Potter ride that was designed to be in 3D. Unlike Forbidden Journey, where they tacked on 3D for the Hollywood version, then got rid of it. This one was designed from the ground up with 3D, and the effects are great. I could have used a couple more animatronics here and there, but it's still a thrilling ride that ends up being a roller coaster in some segments. At the beginning of the ride, when Bellatrix tips your ride into the ground, I was just like, whoa, 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 and you're just waiting for it to drop you down. This ride is non-stop thrilling, and it is easily my favorite Wizarding World ride. Again, we'll see what happens with Battle of the Ministry at Epic Universe, but Not sure how that can top this. If you've already been to Epic Universe and you rode Battle of the Ministry, tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Number 1. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. It was pretty much a no-duh that this was going to be number 1, because after listing all these attractions, there was one that was clearly not on the list until now. This was the very first ride I ever went on when I first visited Islands of Adventure in 2006, and on my most recent trip, I went on this ride at least 5 or 6 times, and I made it a point to make it my last ride before leaving the parks to go to the airport. It is the perfect attraction that combines simulator elements with an actual dark ride setting. I love that 90s Marvel aesthetic to it, where it looks like those Marvel cartoons that were coming out in the 90s, especially the Spider-Man cartoon. The action is a lot of fun. It's just a very, very entertaining ride from beginning to end. I can't imagine this ride ever going away. Even after going on something like Transformers The Ride more often because it's here in Hollywood, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is still the superior ride, mainly because it predated Transformers by over a decade. And to this day, it's not only my favorite ride at Islands of Adventure, but my absolute favorite ride at Universal Orlando Resort. If I ever go back and I don't go on The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, then I have done something really wrong. And there you go, that's my list for my 10 favorite rides and attractions at Universal Orlando Resort. I have no idea when I'll be going to Epic Universe. It might not be for at least 4 years, but when I do, I will be excited as hell for it, and I'm looking forward to making an updated video to include the rides at Epic Universe, because based on everything I have heard, there are some rides that could easily land on a best of list. So I can't wait to go myself, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's not the usual vlog stuff, but I enjoy doing these at-home theme park videos. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, then make sure to subscribe to this channel, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments what your 10 favorite Universal Orlando attractions are. And if you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms down here and my movie review channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, take care, and safe travels.